Hello, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be showing you cool builds for each DLC, starting off with the Ocean DLC. The Ocean DLC, the one I'm about to showcase you, is a bit of a pretty tanky build. Tanky but fast. So, if I go to open up my inventory over here, my bow is the Bubble Burster, because it hits multiple targets and it bubbles multiple mobs and it does a ton of damage. My armor is the Glow Squid armor. It has a brief invulnerability when rolling, which is good for getting away from clouds and mobs, and it releases ink cloud when you're rolling, which actually gives the mobs that go into the ink cloud the blindness effect. This also gives you a 15% plus movement speed away. Next is the Encrusted Anchor for the weapon. It's slow but powerful. It literally says right there. It literally says slow but powerful right here. It also inflicts poison, and that is actually a unique enchantment that only the Encrusted Anchor and Vine will have. It absorbs some knockback, so like if you're getting hit by, let's say, a Royal Guard, it will absorb some of the knockback, so you won't get because as we know, Royal Guards are very annoying, and they can push you back, and you can fall off cliffs sometimes. It also has the Gravity enchantment, which pulls mobs in and then just does a ton of damage. So it's this is very a big tanky mob, and as you can see, its area is max, its power is max, but speed's a bit slow. So I definitely recommend using the Death Cat Mushroom with this, but I myself don't really use it. Okay, the artifacts, it is the Harpoon Quiver, which gives us harpoons, so our bubble burst will do more damage. Then we have the Statue of Snacks, which is always good for getting some items to regen your health whenever you're low HP. You also have the Statue of Awakens, so that means if you're low HP, you can get a Shadow Balloon and run your way out, or if you want a Strength Potion, you can go and get the Strength Potion, do more damage, or the other potions. Okay, that's it for the Ocean DLC. Moving on to the Nether. Okay, for the Flames of the Nether DLC, I recommend using this build. It comes with the Living Ryan's armor as armor because it has a reducing roll cooldown, so you can roll, and it traps nearby mobs from rolling and actually gives them the poison effect. Also, health potions heal nearby allies, so this is good for when you're playing with another player in color, stuff like that. It's a pretty tanky build it's a pretty tanky build with the Firebrand. I recommend using the Firebrand instead of the other weapons because it burns mobs and has that crazy spin attack move. And the bow is the Weeping Vine bow, which I think, in my opinion, is a pretty good bow because charge arrows when rolled, and if you have chain reaction or something, there's gonna be poison literally everywhere, everywhere. For the artifacts, moving on, like I said, it's a tanky build, so I recommend starting with the Blast Fungus if you want. The artifacts don't really matter, or the weapons, but I recommend using most of the setup. Maybe not the artifacts, you can test it out on yourself. But these builds are mostly good for co-op, but also good for doing stuff by themselves. So Blast Fungus is good because you just you run in front of the mobs, you just toss a Blast Fungus. Pretty much I think it one-shots them depending which power level you're doing it on. Then there's the Golem Kit, which summons you a Golem. I mean, it's always good for typing builds if you want a quick Golem to help you whenever you're stuck in a sticky situation. Then the Spin Blade, the Spin Blades are always nice for just tossing around and coming back, because it goes there and it comes back and deals more damage, and has there's also a special. It's a rare chance to do it spins and spins and spins around, and then you get it back. That's pretty cool. Okay. And that's it for this Flames and Nether DLC build. Moving on to the Howling Peaks DLC. Okay, so for the Howling Peaks build, I'll show you right here. It's a cool goat theme build. I mean, the goat here looks nice because it really represents the mountains, as well as the pet goat of the Howling Peaks. Now, the setup includes any of the Tempest knives, really. I just have this because it's pretty, because all the enchantments are good, but you can also use the Chill Gale knife and the other one, or was it? I forgot the name, but yeah, you can use it as well. For the armor, it's the goat gear because it has that minus 40% artifact cooldown, so you can use the artifacts faster. And I found the enchantment cooldown also on it, so I can use it extra fast. It also gets pushback resistance. So when you're doing the Howling Peaks mobs or the Ocean DLC mobs, the Alien episodes, like there are currents and like winds that push you back, like you have resistance to that. This also gives an extra roll, so you can hit, so you can roll faster, and like if you want to get out of some situations, or if you have any roll enchantments, like you can use it like faster. Then for the bow is the burst scale bow. Well, this works well because I have the burst bowstring enchantment, and that works like super well with the multi bow. But if you don't have the burst bowstring enchantment, I'm fine. Just use it as it is, because the charged arrows pull enemies in. So like when they get pulled in, they get closer to you, and you can just go and take them out. This also is similar to the Weeping Vine bow because it has the charged arrows after roll. I'm not really necessarily I'm like, okay, the Go Gear and the Burst Scale bow, you can always switch it if you want, but yeah. For the artifacts, I definitely recommend having at least 2 stash of elements, because you know the lightning is OP. Like it does a ton of damage, like so much damage. Then for the lightning quiver is always just good because like it'll like zap the mobs, and like it gives you a bunch of lightning arrows, and it'll zap them and can cause like chain reaction. It's good with like different bow enchantments. And the Tempest Knife is always nice because you have that. So if you have this is a target dummy. You go like hit the mob, you'll be able to like get a speed burst, so you can run away. But other than that, the Tempest Knife is pretty fast, and yeah, it's one of my favorite weapons, though I don't use it. Okay, moving on to the Creeping Winter DLC. Okay, for the Creeping Winter DLC, I recommend using these weapons. Just show you. Okay. Opening up my inventory, I recommend as the melee weapon, since there was no melee weapon released with the Creeping Winter. I mean, there was, but it wasn't released as part of the DLC. I would definitely recommend using the Freezing Foil because it's basically a Creeping Winter DLC weapon, and it slows mobs, which is nice, and has very fast thrust. Let me demonstrate. It's good with enchantments like Thundering, Radiance, or Critical Hit. See, like that. And it's pretty fast, but like I recommend also using it for Death Cap Mushroom to make it even faster. Alright, for the armor, I recommend using a Frost armor because it has that chilling. It chills mobs, so you can get out of like here you can run from mobs faster, and also has freezing resistance. So when mobs like the frozen zombies or strays shoots stuff at you, like you won't get frozen that often. My version is gilded, but I definitely recommend getting it not gilded if you want, or yeah. This also has a 35% damage reduction, which is always nice if you're gonna go not speed running, but if you just want to have a nice, like not tanky, but like fast, but like freezing build or something like that. For the bow is the Winter's Touch. Now this is very good. Like it does a ton of damage and fires 3 arrows with charge. And also the arrows freeze on impact, so they slow mobs. But like this bow is pretty OP, so like it won't be really slowing any mobs. Let's just get to a place quieter because that enchantment, this one right there, the shockwave is very annoying. There we go, we're far away. For the artifacts, I recommend using an ice one, but I don't have it. So I'm actually saying I'm giving you another 3 artifacts that you can use. The Corruptor Beacon, the Soul Lantern, and the Soul Cube. But you can replace the Soul Lantern with the ice one if you want. Corruptor Beacon is always nice for doing very nice and good for doing just like tons and tons of damage. The Soul Lantern, it's okay for summoning an extra pet to help you out, but I definitely recommend switching the Soul Lantern with the ice one. The Soul Healer is always nice for healing your allies whenever you're very low on HP and you just want to Though the bad thing about this, it only heals 1. Okay, moving on to the first DLC build, the Jungle Awakens. Okay, for the Jungle Awakens DLC build, it's a cool thing, and there are different multiple weapon selections as well as a bunch of artifacts. So let's get into the build. So for the weapon, for the ranged weapon, because the Jungle DLC never really came with a release, there was no ranged weapon in the Jungle DLC itself. So the weapon I think should be the green menace because it's a nice green and like it always poisons mobs native to the jungle. Yeah, like it kind of gets you kind of get that. And also it's a unique variant of the trick bow, so it hits multiple targets. So it can like make multiple poison clouds wherever it goes. Okay, for the armor, of course, we all know it's the Shadow Walker because that's the only like best armor that was released with the Jungle Awakens DLC. Brief invulnerability when rolling, 50% faster roll, and 35% damage reduction. This is good if you want to like escape mobs, just like the first build, the Depths DLC build, similar to the Glow Squid armor, except maybe a bit more damage reduction and stuff like that. Although it has some of the same stuff, except for that damage reduction. Okay, for the weapon, there are two weapons that I like to use. With this build, it's either the Vine Whip because it does a lot of damage. Like its bow is pretty. It's the area, I don't know, but it's okay. And the speed, it's okay. This also has a unique enchantment, very unique, just like the Rustic Anchor. It has the poison enchantment, so it inflicts poison when you hit mobs with it, which does like a ton of damage. So the other weapon I like to use with this is the Mauler. Even though it doesn't look right, it's still pretty nice. Though I do like using the Vine Whip more, but the Maulers are pretty nice if you don't have them. The Maulers are pretty nice if you don't have the Vine Whip. I actually tend to use the Light sometimes, but yeah, because like I like to use some poison weapons and stuff would be nice. Also for the artifacts, the enchanted grass is nice because you want that poison sheep and that red sheep. Those two do a lot. The blue sheep ain't so useful because it only gives you like speed. Speaking of blue sheep, PewDiePie's water sheep. That's kind of what it sounds like what they made it of. Yeah. Or Wilbur's like sheep friend, Wilbur. It's pretty funny. Anyways, then there's the corrupted seeds, which is pretty OP because it literally traps the mob and then just does a ton of poison damage. And then last but not least, there's the buzzy bees because of course you want a ton of bees to help you around whenever you're stuck in a sticky situation. This is kind of like a pet build, not really. Like yeah, with the bees and everything. Fine, but yeah, that's our last build. Thank you everyone for watching and be sure to like and subscribe to help my channel. See you all next time. Another